Hey guys, what is up? It is the founder here with a new video. In the background, you're going to be watching some domination on interchange. I don't really do that well. I think I go 33 and 26 or somewhere in that range. It's just that I haven't played video games in a while, so I was a little rusty to say at the least. Sorry it's been so long since my last video. I had exam review week during the second to last week of May, exams during the last week of May, and then I left for Jamaica. And when I say Jamaica, I'm not talking about Montego Bay, Jamaica, or any of the touristy parts of Jamaica. I went to Kingston, Jamaica, for a service trip. And this service trip is something that's through my school and is normally only available to juniors and seniors. But because I'm a sophomore and I was leaving, the administration made an exception to let me go on the summer trip this year, which is very kind of them. They normally don't make that many exceptions. In fact, the administration of my school is kind of a bitch. But anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna start talking about this trip, and I'm not gonna be talking about it to be like, hey, look at how much good I've done or try to better my rep in any way. I'm just kind of hoping to raise awareness and maybe inspire some people to act. So what I'm gonna do is we went to 4 places, and I'm going to split the video up into 3 or 4 parts. So what it's gonna be is I'll do Walker's first, which is a place or a so-called place of safety for abused and abandoned children. My next video will be about Mustard Seed, which is a home for those with disabilities. And then in my third video, I will either cover both Trenchtown and Ferry, Trenchtown being a home for the aged and Ferry being a shanty town, or I will either do both of those in video 3 or I'll split them up into separate videos. Home for the Aged first, Ferry in the 4th video. So anyways, I'm going to start off with Walker's in this video. The full name is Walker's Place of Safety. It's a home for abused and abandoned children. When you say place of safety along with home for abused and abandoned children, that would imply that that home is sheltering or providing safety from abuse for these kids. We learned it's actually quite the opposite. And there are 2 main workers. You have Miss Allen and you have Christine. Miss Allen is not very caring, rather emotionless, sits around pretty much all day, doesn't really do anything, literally slept half of the time that we were there. Like, there would be days where we'd come in and she would just be sleeping on the bed and would stay there for the whole time that we were there, which was normally 2 to 3 hours a day. And then you have Christine. And Christine is very abusive, physically, verbally, and sexually. There is a woman there named Erica. She's a resident. She is in her 30s, and what happened was when she was younger, she was raped by her own brothers, lost her virginity to her own brothers. Then, a couple years later, she was raped by a man that she knew, and then more and more times she was raped by some men she knew, some men she didn't. And every time that she would try to report such a rape, whoever she told, whether they be police or anything government related, or whether they be just some random person, well, not really a random person, but just whether it would be government related or not, they would all say that she was lying. Nobody would ever believe her. Nobody thought that she was actually raped. So she never got any kind of justice. Nobody ever investigated or anything like that. And then, according to her diary, there was one day where she was running from somebody, running away, trying to get away from somebody. And she ran out into a street and was hit by a car. And when she got hit by the car, it paralyzed her from the waist down. And this placed her in a place called Marigold, which is very similar to Walker's. Marigold closed down a couple of years ago. So then she was moved to Walker's. They were trying to keep her off the streets, which is why they would, like, even at her age, keep her in a place that's normally meant for children. So she got moved to Walker's, and now she just gets constant, I mean constant verbal abuse from Erica. Or sorry, not Erica. She is Erica. She gets constant verbal abuse from Christine. And I mean constant. There was one time where Christine had been verbally abusing Erica, and Erica tried to report it. The only problem with trying to report things in Jamaica is that the government, well, like if you report something and tell them to try to do an inspection, what they're gonna do is they're gonna call Walkers and be like, "Hey, we're coming in on this date to do an inspection." So it pretty much gives them a fair warning. They can clean everything up and do all that kind of stuff, hide the scars as well as they can. But anyways, so she tried to report something, and a government official came in, and the government official ended up siding with Christine. But it was this whole long, big situation that Christine didn't really want to get into. So after the government official left, Christine goes back to Erica's room, and she was mad at Erica for reporting her abuse. So she told Erica it would only take one candle. The woman is bound to a bed, no wheelchair. She has a wheelchair but never gets to use it. Bound to a bed and paralyzed from the waist down. You take a candle and you light the bed on fire. Erica doesn't make it out. So Christine was pretty much telling her, "I have no problem killing you. It would only take me one candle." And the thought of that just sickens me. And then it gets worse. So there's a little boy there named Michael. And Michael is Christine's son. Her own son is at the place, not because any government official put him there, but just because she works there, so he's there. And he gets abuse, mainly physically, from his own mom and from some of the other people at Walker's, because they see that he is Christine's son and nobody there likes Christine, so they kind of go after him a little bit. So he probably gets some of the worst of it. But there was a day that we were there where Christine took Michael upstairs, isolated from everybody else because nobody else was upstairs. And one of the people on the trip saw that. So they alerted somebody else who alerted somebody else, and two of them went upstairs because they knew that while they were up there, if they could see Christine and Christine knew that they were there, then she wasn't going to do anything to Michael, at least for that time. So they were up there and they were just kind of asking around, like looking at some of the stuff, like, oh, what are these rooms for? What are these rooms for? And all that kind of stuff. And, Christine told them that one of the rooms was a classroom. It's actually a complete lie because a lot of people drop off toys as donations at Walker's. And what ends up happening is the workers take the toys, they take them upstairs and lock them in a room, and the kids never get to use them. So when somebody asks about the room, they tell them it's a classroom. But in any case, so they go up there, and Christine is just shouting at Michael. They can hear the shouting from downstairs. And they get up there, and Christine stops. She wasn't physically abusing him at the time that they got up there, but she was shouting, and she stopped. So then they get close to, or it's time to go back downstairs. So when it's time to go back downstairs, one of the girls from my school who's up there, she said, all right, Christine, why don't you go first? Because she knew that if they went first, then Christine would close the door behind them and start abusing Michael. And Christine was like, no, I insist you go first. And it was literally back and forth for a couple minutes of just, no, I insist you go first. No, really, you go first. Really? Because I insist you go first. And that went back and forth for a while until the group leader came over and, saved the day. Kind of brought her down. But even then, it only saved Michael the abuse for then. I don't know what happens when we leave. Also, on top of that, there's a kid there named Arn. In March, he didn't have any marks on him, like Didn't look like he had any scars or physical abuse. And that was in March. It's now June, it's June, and we went there, and he has cigarette burn marks all over his legs, among many other scars on his legs. You can kind of assume what happened. So we decide that if we are nice to these workers, maybe they will realize what they're doing is wrong and kind of change their ways. So we took them to Burger King while the rest of us stayed at the site to help with the kids. So we took them to Burger King, and it was just like this real nice gesture for them. And, throughout the whole day, Christine was saying, please, thank you, you're welcome, that kind of stuff, which is actually a pretty big rarity for her. And so we thought that we might have been making some kind of difference. And we bring her back, and not even joking, the moment that she steps foot in Walker, she goes straight back to Erica and just starts attacking her and going at her verbally. It made me so mad. I was like, we're doing all this for you. We're trying to make you nicer. And what do you come back and you start attacking this woman immediately? It just made me so mad. But on the last day, Miss Allen bought us some bracelets. And Christine said thank you, which again is a rarity for her. And when she was fighting tears when we left. So we might be making some progress. I just worry about what happens to the kids when we're not there. Anyways, it looks like we are coming to the end of the video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. If you like my videos, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'll be back pretty soon with the other parts of this trip, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.